Hi, my name's Colette and I'm an addict. My sober date is May 13th, 2023. And that's very sure. I just want to say thank you to God for allowing me to be here today. If it wasn't for him, I know for sure who knows where I would be out there with my mind lost. Um, so what it was like for me growing up, I grew up in a very dysfunctional family, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I I started getting molested when I was very young by my mom and my dad. And that, it's funny because, Nancy asked me to speak and I just wrote my autobiography not too long ago. And it's funny because I can't remember too much about my childhood other than the flashbacks of um, the very unpleasant things I had to go through. And so, um, but let's see, when I was about 13, I tried weed for the first time. And I didn't feel anything at first. So I uh I told myself next time I smoke weed, I'm gonna like really hit it so that way I can feel it. And right. And so I did. And then I started smoking weed 13, 14, 15 years old. I was ditching school with my friends and smoking weed. And then when I was 15, my parents put me in a private Christian school. Imagine that. And I did well in the private school. It was hard for me because the curriculum was a lot harder. And then, and I graduated. The day I graduated high school was kind of like the best and worst day of my life. It was a great accomplishment, but at the same time, it was the first day I tried meth. I went to celebrate with a friend, and they were smoking meth, and they said, "This is what we do. Do you want to try it?" And I said, "Yeah." I don't remember feeling too much the first time, but all I knew is I wanted to do it again. Um, and so I started using meth at 17 years old, and it got pretty bad. My addiction got pretty bad, and then I tried to stop. And when I was 20 years old, um, I was homeless, and I had been raped, and I was pregnant, and I came back to California because I moved to Colorado when I was 13, and then I came back to California when I was 20. And when I found out I was pregnant, I told my grandma, and she had convinced me to have an abortion. And so I did. And I think that contributed to my, my using just got worse and worse. When I was 19 years old, I got stabbed. I became a blackout drinker after that. And so when I was 21, I met a dude at my job. I worked at McDonald's, and met this dude, and he asked me if I wanted to make more money. And I said, yeah. And he showed me what he did. And he showed me that he would bring people from that were already on the side of the border, but trying to get across the checkpoint. And so he brought me onto his little crew and showed me how to do it, showed me the route. I started doing that. I started using it again. And there I was bringing people, making money, quit my job at McDonald's because I was making more than I was at McDonald's. And then I got caught. And then when I got caught, I did 6 months in jail, and they ordered me to do an inpatient program. That's the first time I went to inpatient. And first time I went to inpatient, I stayed clean for 23 months. And then after that, I found a girlfriend, and while we were together, we started using again. And she introduced me to a needle, and that was when I first started slamming. And then I found out she was stealing from my family, so we kicked her out of the house. And instead of me staying at home, but because I was already, well into my addiction, I went chasing after her and decided I wanted to live with her in the street. And so that's what I did for a little while. and then I caught a violation for pissing dirty. And after I caught that violation, I went back to jail for another 6 months. And when I got out, um, I went back into my addiction right away. Um, I've been in and out, in and out. I'm a chronic relapser, in and out, for the past, I would say, um, 10 years. It's been 10 years, yeah. And so I've been to about 6 different programs. Um, but yeah, Nancy knows. She was my sponsor at one of them, and I'm very grateful for her. This last time that I was out there though, um, was probably the worst. It definitely was the worst. All I know is I remember that I went on a trip, and I don't know if any of you tripped like this, but it sent me into a psychosis, and I went for a walk for like a whole day, and I went from the city of Downey, Norwalk to Paramount, and in the circle. I must have circled around those cities like 3 times in that day. I had no shoes on my feet. I had just a jacket on and some sweats. And when I finally went back home and my family seen me, they were very scared for me. And they took me to the mental hospital. It's not the first time that I had been in the mental hospital. I'd been there before, back in 2017 when it got really bad as well. But this time I can't really put it into words very clearly how it felt being in that psychosis. Um, I know that I had shit my pants, which was not very fun. It was very embarrassing. Um, but I'm glad that my family was there for me, pick me up, and to take me to the mental hospital. And this time, now that I've been clean, my stepmom had dropped me off at the program, and told me, let me know if there's anything different this time. And I pondered on the question for a minute, like, what does she mean by that? And I looked back at her and I told her, I'm gonna be the difference. And I really meant that. Um, God has come back into my life. I got baptized on July 25th. And ever since then, I've turned my will over to Him. And what that looks like is like, I think about my thoughts a lot and I don't let them wander into those dangerous areas where they can and so often have. And I just thank God for allowing me to be here and for me to be important enough to come and speak to you guys. And I thank you guys, and I just want to encourage everybody to hold on to your seat. Don't leave. Like they say, don't leave until a miracle happens. It's true. So that's all I got. Thank you.